Where is the number one reason most people make their change? It's at rock bottom. And it could be for anything. It could be eating too much and you gain 400 pounds and you looked in the mirror one day and you're like, or you tried to get on the airplane and you couldn't sit in one seat, or something happened and you're like, I gotta change. Or you're aggressive and you got in a fight with a guy at a dog park and he pulls out a gun and says he's gonna shoot your dog. Just happened yesterday. And there's many things like alcoholics. A lot of alcoholics, they hit rock bottom by getting a DUI and getting in a crash and maybe hurting themselves or someone else. And sometimes people hit rock bottom many times. I've hit rock bottom more than once. And there'll be a rock bottom that you hit, and you're like, this is it. There's no more rock bottoms for me. I think I've given enough lifelines, and this is the last rock bottom. And it may appear that the rock bottom is, you may never hit it. Let's say I may skate by and just keep drinking fifths or eating cakes all day or doing smoking crack all day, but it's like the bottom is right there. Think of like a thin glass that is just cracking and you're standing on top of it on a huge, on like a skyscraper. It's like only a matter of time until that glass just breaks. It's already broken, and it's going to break no matter what. It's just got to take one large step and boom. So you're going to hit rock bottom eventually. Anyone that has any sort of problem that they can't stop, any compulsion that they can't stop. And I think that makes it like, it makes it, yes, rock bottoms are the best place to change, and we can't force rock bottoms, but unfortunately, that's where most people do make the change. They don't make the change when they're out drinking with their friends and they come home wasted and hungover and they're like, I'm not going to do that again. And then what happens next week? And the friends call them up and they start drinking again. It's when they get arrested for a DUI and get in a car crash or something, and then they're like, I got to go to jail, and I lost my license, my law license or my medical license. Then they hit rock bottom. I think that is where, in some people, they hit rock bottom and they don't learn. And what happens to them? They end up in jail and they end up on the street. So rock bottom is always there for all of us, for many things that we have, many problems in our life that we are not wanting to look at, and we're lying to ourselves saying, oh, it's not as bad as it is, even though I'm drinking a bottle of vodka every night and driving, or I'm smoking meth and it's totally okay. But you hit the rock bottom eventually, and then life after rock bottom is kind of like, it's a blessing in disguise, because here's your chance to change, and without it you probably wouldn't. And that's the hard part. Without that, you would probably just keep going until, who knows? There's people that have hit rock bottom, and where I live in Eugene, there are thousands and thousands of homeless. So you're telling me those people didn't hit rock bottom? Yeah, they did, but what do you think they did? They chose relief, aka drugs, over trying to change, because the change part is the hard part. The change part is, now I have to work on myself. Now I have to work on the growth. Now I have to work on what is causing me to need relief. And I think for a lot of us, for myself, it's being isolated, feeling alone in this world, feeling like an alien, never feeling like I fit in with people or fit in the crowd, fit in with the football teams in fantasy football or the stars. Like, I'm just never been that person. I've always been myself, and I've always felt just isolated. And that feeling of isolation, it just, instead of just accepting it and being okay with being myself, and I have a dog and I don't need those people. I have internalized it because of my father. He made me feel like I was a piece of shit. So you have this person who is your father, who is your, as a kid, you're thinking is supposed to give you this validation that you need, like you're gonna grow up and be a great man, and he tells you you're basically nothing. And then you're alone, and you feel like the reason you're alone is because no one wants to be with you, and you're isolating yourself because the world doesn't accept you, and you don't get along with, I mean, I get along with people, but I choose not to, because I've been places that I can't really relate to a lot of people. So when you get sober, it's not like that isolation just leaves and you're not isolated, because let's face it, a lot of people, with whether it's drugs or you're addicted to a person, you're addicted to food, you're addicted to porn, all of those things are in isolation. It's not like you and 10 girlfriends going out and eating cake, or you and 10 guys going out and watching Pornhub. It's you doing it, and you're doing it out of anxiety and needing relief. And so one day when you decide you need to change, you realize, well, that's not for me anymore. And you realize also that isolation is still there. You're still isolated. You're not, it's not like you're in the pack of people that are all not eating cake anymore and that are all sober. Because also then is you're fighting the demons of not going back, because going back is that comfort. And many people would choose the painful discomfort over the unknown. And think about that. That's really, really sad to think about, because you know that this thing that you're doing causes pain. Let's think, say, every time that you watch porn, it causes you pain, it causes you shame, regret, and you carry that with you. And you're like, why did I have to do that? I should not have done that. I'm too impulsive, blah, and then your mind goes down these rabbit holes and just beats yourself up. Or you eat that cake when you said I wasn't gonna eat cake anymore. And of course you just impulsively ate it. And then what do? You don't feel good about yourself, you feel bad. And so that's where the cycle of addiction comes in, is you go back to the cake because you felt bad. You go back to the drug, you felt bad. And the thing is okay, I got rid of the cake. Now life's gonna be good. And life isn't good yet. You still got a long ways to go. You still got a lot of personal development to do. You gotta take that cake and you need to replace it with something healthy. And then still, you're isolated, and you got to begin to meet people, and meet people that are like you, and meet people that understand what you've been through. And I think that's the hardest part. And I think a lot of people that have gone through these traumatic experiences, these are all trauma experiences, and they think that they're the only one that's gone through them. And yes, maybe yours is unique. And yes, the majority of people aren't going to be able to relate. Like, I can't just go up to a guy in the gym and say, hey, how was that benzo withdrawal? And he's going to look at me like, what the heck? You're crazy. Or how was heroin withdrawals? Those aren't very fun. The guy's going to look at me like, get out of here, you psycho. So you have to go to the right places, and you have to build some sort of community. I know some of these are pretty crazy. I would avoid a lot of them, but you still need to be around people that understand you, because they understand what it takes to recover. You're gonna get advice from people that have been there before, and they're gonna give you momentum. They're gonna give you energy. They're gonna pass along a lot of wisdom that you can use. And their purpose, like I said in my other videos, is if you become sober and you start living a healthier life is you need to find purpose in this life, especially with all the pain and trauma you've been through, or else you're going to be like, well, what's the point? And a lot of these people who have gone through these really traumatic experiences is that they decide my purpose is to help other people, and if I can help one person change, I may not be able to speak in front of thousands of people, but what if I can help someone else and they do? Then I will be the catalyst that changes that. And Tupac said that. He said, I may not be the person that changes the world, but I will be the person whose voice changes someone who changes the world. And I think if you look at it like that, that's someone with purpose. And you could tell he's suffering. He's going through a lot of pain, but he has purpose, and his purpose keeps him going. And so you have to find that purpose after you've gotten off all this shit, because this is when it gets hard. And you have to find purpose. You have to find others who understand. Otherwise, you're going to be the person at the football game who's feels out of place. You're going to feel out of place. There's nothing worse than feeling out of place. Feeling alone is not as bad as feeling out of place. Like for me, going to a football game and cheering for two football teams is just not. That's where I would feel completely out of place, because I like to play football, baseball. I would just not want to be around those people. And for them, they would feel out of place around anyone talking about anything like this, because for them, even if they were alcoholics, a lot of them probably don't want to change. It takes a lot of strength to see yourself in that light, and to see yourself as, damn, I really screwed up, but it's time for me to move on and grow and take all this that I've learned, all these struggles that I've learned, and this curse, and make it a gift. Because Mike Tyson even said, he said all those things that you went